Y'all gotta chill.
Hello.
Hello.
I will not cuss. I promise.
No, go ahead. It's fine.
I'm here.
Oh,
Yeah, Kurt.
there's
Like we are a PG, but no PG-13. Like I don't want people to be afraid. Like we're not going to go off the rails with that stuff. But
I will say this: we are PG-13, and as PG-13, you are allowed one F-bomb, and I will probably steal it and not realize that I did.
really, okay, all right. Well,
I still remember on stream.
stop, Manda.
She's a bad influence.
I know she is.
Very bad influence. No, I take that back. Manda is a wonderful, genuine, uplifting influence.
She is.
The
Do
most,
all the bad
most
things.
uplifting. She's so she.
All the bad things.
All right.
Yeah. I still remember on TOA, it was the closing words, and you asked if we wanted to say anything to the mad chatters before we went, and I said, I effing love you guys.
You did. It was good though.
I dropped it. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it was
So,
good,
you
yeah.
know, that's the one F-bomb that TOA gets in its entirety.
Yeah.
Right? There you go.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. You will be both seen and heard. Welcome to Loremaster's Arcanum 130 something, I think. And I am joined now by the next generation, the amazing Kurt and Rachel. Guys, first of all, I have to thank Robert and Vivi. They have been so helpful. Robert is the Friday Night Crusades leader. He is a real provocateur to all that's happened here in Blue Box. He pushed us to do our Blue Box Con. He has helped us in so many ways. Robert, man, much love. Vivi, Rizia, I mean, just she is such a great role player. We will celebrate them both. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Tonight, though, the next generation.
Make it so.
Number 1.
No. If anything, I'm Q. I am 100% Q. I am here for the chaos.
All right, so we have some Dragon Magazine things in the background just playing here for fun, but I'm going to kick it off tonight for both of you. Tell me how you first, Kurt, then you, Rachel, got started in D&D.
Oh, I know this story. I don't have many memories before the age of 10, but this one I very much do have. It was a cool, crisp winter's eve of December, and I was visiting my friend. Now, to set the date, right? Do y'all remember when the Star Wars came out on VHS as the 3-pack, and it had the Yoda head, the Stormtrooper head, and the Vader head? We're talking circa 93, I think, maybe at most, right? But when that came out, I went to my friend's house, right? That weekend. I had never seen Star Wars before then. We went, and it was gonna be the weekend marathon. We were in the 3rd grade or something. So I went over to his house. Well, we got one of the worst winters in recorded history in the state of Michigan at the time. So what went from being a sleepover turned into, right, a 5-day stay at my friend's house.
What?
Because we literally couldn't get out of his house, right?
Halcyon days.
So after we watched Star Wars, pardon me.
Yeah.
For 2 straight days, the remaining days, we were like, what do we do? What's gonna happen, right? What are we gonna do, right? Well, his dad comes out with this big stack of black books and red lettering, right? And it's Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. And he said, "Boys, I'm gonna learn you good for the
Wait, no, learn you good. Really? He said, "Learn you good."
Oh, yes. No. Okay. Keep in mind, Brian, rest his soul, right? He was a good old boy crop farmer. This was his one thing that was outside the box that he did, right? And that was play Dungeons and Dragons, right? And so We all sat there, we rolled up our first characters, and for like 3 days, we played in Dragonlance. That's where we played. That was my first experience of Dungeons and Dragons.
Wow.
And from then on, I couldn't afford drugs. I was buying D&D shit.
All right, so before we go to Rachel, we're going to do a fun thing tonight. I cleared this with her. She's okay with it. We're going to do an Ask Rachel segment. So, Rachel, you're going to have to tell us what magazine, book, or other publication was this the cover for?
You literally, I believe, gave it away at what?
It sits in the room 5 feet from you every single Sunday.
No, this is terrible.
No, I'm sorry. You said I could do this.
No, I gave you full permission.
You did.
I also told you, be prepared to be disappointed.
You did. Nobody in chat. Stop. No chat.
Help, chat. Help.
No.
Assist me.
All right, Kurt. Kurt, if you fail,
You got me.
I'm going to beat you up.
That is the folio of all folios.
Yes.
That is the only folio you will ever need. But the real question is, John, I fire back to you. Which folio do you have?
I do not have the one with Call of Cthulhu in it.
Oh.
No. I used to. I did. I had that old one. Yes, but all right. So Kurt's quitting now. I'm sorry, Kurt.
No. I'm done. I'm done. I expect nothing. And yes.
All right, Rachel, tell us about your first forays into D&D.
Yes. So I believe I've covered it once before.
You have.
But I have a little bit of fun additions here. When I was younger, obviously I grew up with 2 brothers, and 2 older brothers, I should say. So very much looked up to whatever it is that they looked up to, which was a lot of video games, and also my father, who also played video games. But that also kind of extended to Dungeons and Dragons. So my middle brother Garrett, whom you all have met wonderfully on TOA as his appearance as Ramshackle Lodgings, got into D&D first and foremost, and after his sessions, he would come home and clear me in on some of it, a lot of the just really awesome adventures that they would go on, and a lot of the craziness that occurred, such as his character getting sucked into hell, essentially, for what was about centuries in his time, but only a couple minutes in the actual world. And by the time they got him out, he was a changed man, and it was wild, but very fun. And those types of stories, wrapped me up, latched me into D&D, and I have been absolutely obsessed with it ever since. My first game that I got a part of was back in 2019. I joined Roll20, which all of you online D&D fans I'm sure know about. And I've been with that group for almost 5 years this October. It'll be 5 years then. And it has been a wild ride. So fun.
No, and you are so fun. So
Wow.
Your theater background, you have been very involved in theater. How do you think that experience in theater approached inside of Tears of Aird or broader role play has influenced how you play?
Oh, it has influenced me so greatly. It's very helpful in that I don't have a lot, on stream especially, I don't have a lot of stage fright. Obviously, you still get nervous because knowing that people are watching you and they're hearing what you're saying and you want to say the right things. That can be nerve-wracking still, but I don't have that same anxiety, I suppose. Which is
I've seen that. You're a natural on the camera.
You're so sweet. This is great.
No, I mean you are. You are.
But I also helps in that I love acting. It has been a love of mine for a very long time now. I say a very long time now, since I was 7 or 8 when I got into it. And majority of my life. That's a good way to say
That,
it.
yeah, right. Long time, majority, 7, 8, yes.
Yes. And it not only has helped with being able to put yourself into the shoes of other characters, which is something that you do within D&D as well, but also the improv that you might have to do, because there have been so many times on stage that someone will miss a line or something will go wrong or sound cue doesn't go off, and you just gotta pick it up and just keep going because the show must go on, as they always say.
So, with that, how would you compare the camaraderie of the backstage? Because I've never been a theater guy. That was not my background, regretfully. But the camaraderie backstage that happens, I think, is renowned. Most people know that's a really tight-knit community. So, how would you compare that to the cast of a D&D party? Do you see any, like, okay, let me back up. You, Rachel, Thomas, all sit outside my house every single Sunday and talk about the stream. How do you feel like that connects with your theater background?
Honestly, I feel like D&D groups are a lot more connected than theater groups, because within theater there's so many people that are involved and all of them are very important to the show, but there's also kind of cliques in that. But within a D&D group, you're all kind of in it together, and you're all there for the purpose of creating the story together. But while with theater, you already have this pre-made story, and the goal is to set it up and play it.
So that's a great point. So the balance between scripting and unpredictability of D&D, like how do you see that playing out in your mind with our games?
Oh man, it's a joy, honestly. I love the storytelling that we have done here and that I've done in the past as well. It is one of the best. Like, I believe Garrett had said it, that Blue Box RPG, the level of roleplay is like on the same level as some of these really big streams of Dimension 20. And, like,
oh yeah, he
Role.
did. Yeah, he was just being nice. He was just being nice.
He was not being nice.
No,
I feel it too.
I can actually attest to that.
Go ahead, Kurt.
The level in which you guys actually like this channel very much puts forth, especially the TOA crew and the Greyhawk crew and everybody, right? They put forth, like, they know that they're telling a story, but there's a difference between telling a story and letting the dice do it, and telling the story in conjunction with dice and improv.
Yes.
And y'all very much have that knack.
Wait, Kurt. Now tell us, why do you have chops to make that statement? Because you've got a good background in the community.
So, I used to, once upon a time, don't boo me, don't shun me, I will run away if you say it right. Before she turned into the biggest, like, black hole and career ender person, I used to work for Satine.
Well,
and yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, no shade thrown here. Like, just move on. Go ahead.
The Gilding Light crew and stuff like that. So a lot of that I was in charge of doing things like casting and what have you, as well as putting shows together and whatnot. So, like, a lot of that is I have to look at people. I have to gauge, is this a right fit for this person? Is this a right fit for this person? Is this table gonna mesh well? Because I'm putting a bunch of strangers together and they've got to be able to play off one another. And one thing that I have noticed is that, that is one thing that is really interesting about the Blue Box community as a whole, is that it's all the casts that are together, right? They just work. It's neat. It's just neat how well they just work. And it's kind of rare that you'll generally have, one or two shows or something like that where that'll happen. But for each and every single production that's made where everybody just gels, right? It's
right.
Nice. It's cool to see.
Okay, I love that, Kurt. Thank you so much. So now, one question. Kurt ask Rachel, and then Rachel ask Kurt.
Okay. All right. Oh, actually, no, I do have a question.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I do. Are you ready for this one?
I'm ready.
What were your first set of dice? Did you buy them or were they given to you?
Oh.
They were gifted, and it was one of those, like, the $5 ones that you get, like, in the little plastic, and it's just the base colors of, like, red and black and green and black and yellow and black.
Mm-hmm.
It was those.
Oh!
I have since bought many, though.
All right.
I may or may not have special dice for Mila, and also some for Finley as well.
Well, yes, and that D20 was tossed to me and given back to you. Finley's okay now, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Thank
for
goodness.
now.
Don't say that, Kurt. Don't put that out in the world. It
Listen,
can't happen again.
listen.
I genuinely felt sick to my bones.
Okay, so a question from Rachel to Kurt, and then from Robert. After that, each of you, your first D&D character. So Rachel to Kurt, one question, and then both of you will give me your first D&D character.
I guess this kind of goes alongside first D&D character, sort of. But what was your what is one of your favorite D&D moments that you've been a part of or witnessed? I'm sure
Okay.
there are many, but
Okay. So the first one that comes to mind, right? The first one that comes to mind is the story of Brahm and Rosalie. Brahm was a dwarven paladin. Brahm Stonehammer was a dwarven paladin, and we were playing Curse of Strahd. We were playing Curse of Strahd in conjunction with one of our ongoing campaigns that had lasted, almost 5 years by that point. But anyway, basically, Rosalie was going to die. Right now, keep in mind, Brahm is a paladin. Brahm is a paladin of he is a dwarven paladin. He is 100% all about the light, all about the holiness.
Moradin, perhaps?
Well, yeah, he was Moradin, but he was Moradin, but he leaned more towards like Lathander.
Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, Rosalind was all her cards. We had no spells. We had nothing left. She was dead. She was dying, right? And against his better nature, right? He took a dark pact in order to bring her back to life, sort of forsaking his paladin oaths in order to ensure that she lived. Now, she came back, though, right? When she came back, she was burned from head to toe because all the thing was is to bring her back to life. That was it, right? And by the end of the story, when it was all said and done, when we reached level 20, yes, I've had a character no shit reach level 20. He married her and then settled down in the just outside the dune, the giant dune sea of Faerun, with a little hut and a little house, and they lived until like ripe old age kind of thing. But yeah, that was the coolest thing. Was Strahd showed up, downed her, and it was like there was nothing none of us could do, right? Because we didn't play with nice Strahd, who like just toyed with us and left. Whenever he showed up, somebody was probably gonna die. And he downed her, and that was the only thing that we could do. Was we were presented with an option, right? Will you give just a little bit of yourself to make sure that she lives, kind of thing, right? And he sure as shit did. He gave a little bit. That little bit ended up being a mile, and then she came back, and so that was the greatest, one of the greatest moments I ever had as playing D&D.
that's incredible. I got chills. That's
Yeah.
lovely. Oh, and you guys lived happily ever after?
No, we didn't. She actually just later she was affected by the spell plague.
Don't crush
And
my
we
dreams.
Yeah,
No.
she was affected by the
spell plague.
And we did a level 20 adventure and had to go into the Tomb of Annihilation. Yeah, that
The
didn't
Tomb
go.
of Annihilation.
That didn't go well.
No, it's always a
Oh,
good
that
night.
sound
Yeah.
great.
It was a good time.
Yeah, you know, Tomb of Annihilation. Only good things could come out of that.
Okay,
Yep.
so first characters, Rob asked. Before that, we have our second Ask Rachel question. Ready, Rachel?
Okay.
All right. Let's do
going.
this. What book, wrong one, had this cover?
Oh,
Thank you, Sergeant Tobeck.
oh no.
It also sits 4 feet from you every single Sunday. I'm not giving you like hard curveballs. It's in my room. You see it.
This one I don't think I've ever taken notice of within your room. To be fair, in
Yeah.
my
The
defense, in your
centaur.
room, you have.
Yeah, it's literally. It's
Everywhere.
right here. It's right here. I'm looking at it. It's right here.
You're looking at.
I am. Yep, it's right here. It's okay.
Hmm.
No, you own that book. All right, yeah. So no, it's okay. Like, Kurt, you're gonna answer this, and I'm gonna give you a harder one. You ready?
Oh, sure.
All right. So what's this one?
I do believe that is the Monster Manual.
The original 1E Monster Manual.
Yep.
Now, Kurt, we're gonna ask Kurt, who is this?
Let's see who we got.
If you fail, you're kicked off my stream.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
That looks like.
I'm teasing. I won't kick you off. I'm just teasing.
No, it's a little. I want to say that's an original concept.
Stop, Greg.
Of Drizzt. Is it?
Drizzt? No.
No.
No, not Drizzt.
It's a dark
But you got,
elf.
the Z's and the T's are good. Grazd, the Demon Lord, the original. Like, yeah, he's like OG. All right.
No.
Sorry.
Did
writing
not
it
know
down.
that one. You gotta understand. You gotta understand. Until I started hanging out with y'all, my exposure to Greyhawk was very limited. Right? Was
Wait.
super limited.
Okay, that's
So,
not
like-
Greyhawk. That's like old school 1E Monster Manual.
Wasn't that all Greyhawk originally?
No, because well, maybe. All right. So, all right. Your first characters.
Oh, Rachel gets to go first on this one.
Oh, fantastic. Hey, you guys remember when I told you I joined that campaign back in 2019? That was my first character. Her name was Nalani. She was a war cleric, which was really funny because apparently there was a war that happened at the time that she was not involved in. Because I didn't know that it occurred, because I did not know the lore of the world that we were in, because it was new to me. But hey, that happens. She was an edgelord. She worshipped the Raven Queen, because, death, dying, war, all kind of correlated. And she has a very sad story.
Oh,
It is very sad.
tell us.
So, she was born a tiefling, as I believe I said. Her mother was also a tiefling. Within this world, tieflings in Kavas were used as slaves. Her mother had escaped Kavas and had gone down to Sol, which is one of the warring nations. Fell in love with one of the soldiers there. Ended up getting pregnant, as it happens. He died. She ended up running to the Free State to try and find a better life for her and her child. And while out there, she did not find necessarily a better life, as she kind of had to turn to more mercenary needs, leaning towards slowly becoming a bit of a spy, a little bit of an assassin. She wasn't very present in her younger years, and she was taken care of by Father Belmore, who was a worshiper of one of the good gods. You know how they are.
They're good.
They're one of the light ones, like, yay, bless the light. She ended up, one of the enemy mercenaries that she was working against, ended up finding out that she had a daughter, came to try and hurt her. Thankfully, it was stopped, but her mother was like, this isn't safe for you, you being connected to me isn't okay, so she sent her off to go live at a Raven Queen chapel in a different city. And they ended up tracking her down there as well, and all of the friends that she had made pretty much ended up dying. She lost her eye in the process, and the Raven Queen kind of at that point was her surrogate mother in a way, since she didn't have her real mother, and Nalani decided to dedicate her life to the Raven Queen and serving her. And to make sure that she wasn't tracked, she ended up shaving off her horns, cutting off her tail so that she could not be seen as a tiefling, because she had rather pale pink skin and white hair. And yeah, lived her life working as under her. And then we began the campaign at some evil necromancy towers that needed to get taken care of, and it all just kept going downhill from there.
I love that. I love that. So, is that connected to this? The one for the road.
Yes. So at
Tell
the
us.
end of that campaign, we ended up, there was a whole plague that hit the world, essentially. It was an undead plague that started to take over because of the BBEGs as they are. And we met a lot, as you can see, a lot of different characters throughout the campaign. And at the end, my character, whom you can see,
Which one? Oh,
around
right,
the
right there.
campfire. Hold up. That was one of my characters.
Okay.
Nalani ended up leaving the party for a moment because she ended up doing a not so great thing. You know, she doesn't see death as a bad thing because they get to go to the Raven Queen. So she might have killed someone that the party wasn't necessarily down for her to kill.
Okay.
And so she ended up leaving for a little bit to seek some assistance from that. Long story short, she ended up dying as sort of a martyr at the end of the battle because she was already going to die once they had finished what they started, as she had also died during the whole campaign. And the only way they brought her back was one of the sorcerers sending to her goddess, being like, "You can't take her now, we need her." And so she's like, "Okay, I won't take her now. I'll take this memory of her mother. And once you finish what it is you need, I'll take her in her entirety." So once we had finished killing the BBEG, she was then taken by the Raven Queen, and the rest of the party has lived on, which is very fun.
Wow. That's awesome.
Fantastic.
That's so
I love
fun.
That group, I loved that story. It was just a blast.
So Rachel, again, what techniques did you use in that campaign from your theater background to bring that character to life? Because I know you do this all the time.
Oh boy, I'm gonna be honest. This is back in 2019, and I was but a child.
As opposed to now.
As opposed to now, which obviously I'm an adult legally. That's how this works.
2019 was 4 years ago.
And I'm 21 now. Hey, it happens. I love, you know this, John. I love writing backstories.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
I love having that solid base to start building off of. And once you get within the game and you have all of these other characters with all of their different backstories and they're all trying to find a way to work together, being able to tap into my improv abilities and also the ability to be vulnerable via acting was, at least I've been told from my group, very helpful in helping them be vulnerable as well.
What does that mean? Like, vulnerability is a complex topic, and what does that mean to you in roleplay?
Being able to let yourself experience those emotions that your character is feeling, whether that even is like happiness and joy and excitement, but also the sadness and the anger that can be brought out of D&D campaigns, because that's the joys of it. There's so many highs and there's so many lows, and that's what you get to explore and feel out. And sometimes with new groups especially, it's difficult to have that comfortability in sharing those emotions with strangers, essentially. And so it's very nice to be able to comfortably tap into that and help other people feel more comfortable in sharing.
Well said. Kurt, I have some thoughts for you, but any comments on that?
No, she's 100% right, and this is why I stand by. Session zeros are important.
They're
DMs.
so good. They're so good.
Session zeros are important.
Kurt, you have been to many, 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 many conventions. You are not 4 years from 19.
I've been to a few. Yeah.
There you go. Wait, show this out again. Go ahead. Show it again. All right. So, what are some of your favorite memories from conventions you've been to?
Oh man, that's a loaded question. We don't have enough time for that.
Yeah, we do.
No.
Get one or two. Get one or two. Like.
Okay. All right. So, let's see. The first time I met Ed Greenwood, that was a big one for me. Elminster himself. I know I jacked my camera all up. I am sorry.
You're fine.
There we go.
You're fine.
There we go. I'm gonna fix it. There we go. All right. The first one, that Ed Greenwood, that was a big one for me personally, because I had grown up. I mean, like outside of Dragonlance, it was Forgotten Realms for the most part for me. So it was one of those like, oh my god, right? I get to meet. I got to meet him, and it was a brief exchange. It was a here, sign my thing, right, kind of deal or whatever, right? But like. He was just cool. It was like talking to your grandpa. It was neat, right? Like, like it really was. It was just like he was just very warm.
Well, yeah,
he
is.
He was just a really good guy. And so like that one's just gonna kind of live with me forever, kind of thing or whatnot, right? Because that was one of those like very big deals. As far as other like super memorable con experiences, so. The other one, I guess this would actually be more better than meeting Ed Greenwood.
No
right?
blues.
Yeah, it was Gamehole Con. What was it? 3 years ago? Yeah, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. It's fairly recent, right? But it was like 11 o'clock, right? And this dude was sitting by himself at a table, right? And I was like, you got a game going? And he's just like, no. He's just like, I put out, but nobody signed up for it or nothing like that or whatnot, right? And we're like, well, what is it, right? And she's like, it's just some old 3.5, right? And me and a bunch of my friends just kind of were like, yeah. And he's like, yeah. And he's just like, but I'm gonna pack it up or whatever. Haven't had anybody to play with all day, kind of thing or whatever. We sat down and played until 3 a.m, and it was hands down one of the best games I've ever played in my life. It was 100%. We didn't know this guy. He didn't know us. But
That's
we're
awesome.
Like, bro, you want to play? Let's play, right?
That's awesome.
And we sat down and we played, and it was awesome. We all died, but we died gloriously. Glorious.
Morkborg.
The nuts. Before that was a thing.
Yeah.
But like, no, we all. It all started with us trying to make a deal with Xanath. What's his name? The fucking Beholder. The Beholder. I'm
gonna leave you on the island. I know the answer, Kurt, but I'm gonna leave you on the island.
My brain is not working.
Wow, really?
Xanathar. No, not Xanathar. Fucking.
Wait. Okay.
Beholder. Okay. All right. I have brain damage. Leave me alone. All right. With him, and we had to basically charm him. We had to make a persuasion roll because we had to try. The whole thing was we were trying to steal his goldfish, right? And that was the deal. No, his goldfish is awakened. It's an awakened goldfish. It is his most prized possession.
That's
right?
so cool.
And so we were attempting to steal his goldfish, right? And we had to make a charm to try and all this stuff, whatever, right? Well, long and short, right? The rogue rolled a natural 1 on trying to steal, right, the goldfish while we had the Beholder distracted. And yeah, no, it didn't go well. We found out just how impressive the many eyes and the many rays and con saves failing, and just, yeah, we were all stone statues by the end of it, and we were laughing our asses off the whole time. Yeah, we were.
That's
we
the
were.
best.
It was a great. We knew it was a bad idea going in, but we didn't care. It was awesome.
So, our next Ask Rachel. Ready?
Oh gosh. Okay, I gotta get at least one of these.
You will. You're gonna get this one. I think. I shouldn't say that because that puts pressure on you. I'll stop.
Okay.
What is this?
Wait, what is
It's a doggy.
It's a mind flare, or not a mind flare.
Nope.
A intellect devourer.
Ah, she got it. Let's go.
Hang on.
Wait,
hang
yes.
on. Is it because you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3?
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, that was a rigged question. BG3, mind flayers and intellect devourers all over.
good.
Yes.
It's so much fun.
Well
I'm
done.
having a blast.
So tell us about I've played like 12 minutes of it because I just don't have time. But both of you, tell us about your thoughts on BG3. I mean, to me, it looks amazing.
10 out of 10, perfect game.
It is one of the best games I've ever played.
All right, tell me why.
Okay,
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, the D&D. Yeah, Rob. It was in the D&D movie too. Yeah, it was.
so from a old school gamer perspective, right? The number one thing that we have complained about, right, is we aren't getting complete games at launch, right? You buy a game and you immediately have to buy another, you spend 60, 70 bucks on a game, you got to spend another 20 bucks to get DLC. There's all these
Expansion
patches.
pack.
No DLC, no extra content, no exactly.
There is no microtransactions, and the best part, there's no microtransactions. You pay one freaking fee.
Exactly.
That is the amazing. But the best part, right? You are not required to be online in order to play the game. You can
so
play
good.
your
Wait,
story.
wait. So Rachel, you're excited. Like, why does that mean something to you, Rachel?
Because I currently don't have enough money to buy it myself, but my brother does. And so he bought it, and so I've been using his copy offline, and it has been so much fun, and it is the only reason why I've been able to play Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. I love it. And, not only all of the things that Kurt listed, which are already, fantastic, but the writing, the voice acting, the
Oh yeah.
the pixels, they don't even look like pixels.
The pixels. She said the pixels.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
cutscene.
She said the pixels.
This is this is another thing that's a selling point for me on this game,
so
right?
good.
And I can't. The replay value of it, right,
Yes!
is amazing. They have, via the number of race options, class options, story beat options, romanceable characters, killable characters, and the different routes that you can go to complete the game. There are over 1,700 different endings
And
for the game.
All right. So the fact you know that, and no, Pat, she did not say that. She said her brother has it. That's it. No, stop. Go ahead, Rachel.
Oh, I was gonna say that your choices matter in the game.
Mhm.
Who you kill affects later down the road what occurs. Who you save.
What? Wait, what?
affects
Who you
later down the
kill
road.
affects the what?
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
of course.
No.
That's the thing.
That's the thing, though, right? Like, you can mess up and kill a.
I don't like Lahazel.
No,
Le-
murder her. Nobody does.
No, I in my first 4 minutes of playing the game, I offed her.
Yep.
That's fair.
That's
and
fair.
you can do that.
100%.
And that's a route.
Yeah. Is it a bad route? Did I make a mistake?
No, it's your route. That's the thing. There is no bad answers. It's your route.
Okay.
It's the choices that you make. And if that is the choice that you make, then that's what you do.
I found a dog. I'm just saying.
I also found a dog. He's in my
Did you find the never mind, I'll stop. All right, so Kurt,
Yeah.
are there any house rules that you have adopted into your game? Things that go beyond sort of 1E, 2E, or basic Pathfinder stuff, or Morkborg house rules you have?
Yeah. For the record, Morkborg is not my primary game. D&D will always be my primary game. But, just so we clear the air on that one, I happen to be writing right now for them.
Okay.
But anyway, number one house rule is bribery in the form of food is always accepted. Yep, bribery in the form of food. If someone shows up and puts a cold canned Dr. Pepper on my side of the DM screen, all of their DCs are reduced by 5 for the whole game. That's just a fact.
And Kurt, that has nothing to do with what happened to you last week and the hospitalization you had, right?
No, not a thing. Nope, not a thing. Another house rule that I have, though, right, is I have okay, so as a prime example, right, I have my own stat line for spears because a spear can impale a man, right? It can kill somebody. It is not a D4 weapon.
Wait,
right?
isn't a spear a base D6, D8?
D4 D6 for versatile for D5 for
In which game?
But I'm always going like 3.5 PF1E. I think it's a D6 base up to D8.
It's a D6 in 5.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, D6.
Wait, no, who said 5E? Like, stop that. Stop. I'm teasing.
Listen, sir. Listen, sir.
Leave us the 5e babies alone.
All right, Rachel,
So the spear.
I have a question here. Right? So why does 5E suck so bad, Rachel?
Wow.
Wow. I can't believe you come
your
for me
roll,
like
sir.
this on my first
I'm teasing. Stop.
Wow. I can't believe.
You know what? I have a question for you guys.
Okay, what's up? What do you got?
If you guys were to be a 5e or Pathfinder class, what would it be?
Oh, that's easy.
Everyone knows my answer.
It would be Bard, of course. It has to be.
Yeah, 100%. He's totally a bard.
Nope.
No?
Nope.
No. Oh, yeah, that's right. You told him what would he pick, not what would he actually be.
Oh, you think that's different, Kurt?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not genuine. I'm not
you are
genuine.
You are a bard, sir. You are a bard.
John, I
Through
saw
and
you
through.
play I played with you.
I'm a paladin.
And it was beautiful.
No, you are not. You are not a
You
paladin.
came up with
You are
rhymes
not
on
a
the
paladin.
spot, John. Randall, literally that whole poem, the poetic song.
The Trepsicordian. I gotta stop.
Oh
You
my
are
gosh.
a bard, sir. You are a bard.
Bard through and through.
So I don't get to choose. I have no volition. I have no choice in this. It's just I'm assigned.
For you.
Okay.
Listen. You may have started on the path of the paladin. You may have started that way, right? But at some point, you multi-classed over into bard, and because you wanted like you wanted to give out inspiration to inspire those around you, and you just stayed there. And it just continued on because that's what bards do.
All right, so Amanda, like why can I not be a paladin? Let's put up in the poll. Should John be a bard or a paladin or multi-classed? Let's put that up in the chat. Kurt,
Yes.
tell us about, as someone really heavily connected in the community, what things you're excited about. You're seeing new systems, new rules, a lot of celebrities getting involved. Mangialo, of course, and Stashwick and many others. But like, what are you excited about with where D&D is going?
So the thing that I am the most excited about, and this is the part that I love and hate at the same time, right, is the idea that we're going to have where when we say we play D&D, right, D&D is not going to be the default answer, right?
Right.
So that's my big thing. That's what I absolutely love about the.
Is that a WotC thing that's driving that, or?
No. Just so okay. Think about it, right? Up until what is it like 93, 94, right? We had Dungeons and Dragons, Pendragon, and then we had Rifts and GURPS for the most part. Those
Wait. You Ice, MERP. I mean, you're leaving out so many other systems.
I'm leaving out niche systems. I reckon.
Niche?
Niche.
Ice MERP is niche.
John's hurt.
Well, hey, thank you, Kurt. It was great having you on with us tonight. This was Kurt's one and only Loremaster.
Wow.
Bye.
Wow. You know what I'm not missing a lot. What I'm basing on is what had the most shelf space at every single hobby shop. And those were the games that had the most shelf space.
Thank you, Jason. Jason's with me. See you, Kurt.
Had,
See you. Bye.
Oh, well,
Bye.
whatever.
Bye,
All
Kurt.
right. Y'all can say that.
No, shelf space is not the answer. If you're an artist, it's who has the greatest content. You know what? There were many. C.S. Lewis was not recognized in his day. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings had no shelf space compared to what it had 40 years later, 50 years later, 60. So,
I know.
So you're going on the retail. That's it, Kurt.
I'm going off of what was the first thing that you saw when you went into the RPG section of your local nerd store. It was Dungeons and Dragons.
Of course. Yeah.
It was Pendragon.
No.
Chaosium.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe that was because we're in California. I don't know.
Yeah, it wasn't in California.
Maybe. I don't know. Right. But the thing that I like being able to see right now is the fact that we have a plethora of systems that are out and are coming out. So we are truly spoiled for choice when it comes to I want to get into role-playing games, right? I want something. If you literally say I want to be, I want to play
Chainmail.
something that allows me to be a, an anime bunny character saving the universe from space aliens, right? There's an RPG for that, and it's supported, right? To I want to solve mysteries of the mysteries of the forgotten times and whatnot of like South Africa, right? Yeah, there's an RPG for it, right? You can get as obscure or you can get as
Yeah, that makes sense.
Broad.
Yeah.
And that to me is awesome.
I like that.
Awesome to me.
Yeah. So
I second that.
yeah. Any more, Rachel?
Something
Just a second, or
for everyone.
Oh, because I'm new to the RPG world, it's very exciting to be able to try out so many new different ones and learn the rules of them. Like, before I had joined you all on Blue Box, I was playing with Thomas and Chandler and Garrett and another John, different John. In Chandler's apartment, we played Starfinder, we had played GURPS, and that I'd never played those before, but it was so much fun to just learn it for the first time. And the same with Pathfinder and what I'm doing now on TOA. It's a blast, and just being able to find new little modules and systems and learning them it's very fun. And also, in the defense of the Bard 100%,
yeah, it was 70.
dedicated your life. Like Blue Box RPG, you have dedicated part of your life to telling stories. Magnificent stories.
Okay, I surrender.
That's my argument.
I surrender. All right.
Let's compliment you, John.
Actually, you know what? To get it even more 5e, he is a bard. College of Lore would be what kind of bard he is.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I feel that, but there is still the. All right, Rachel. How has being part of a campaign like Tears of Aird enhanced or influenced your storytelling as a theater person, as a storyteller? Being part of Tears of Aird, Mila, the stories that she's telling, how has that influenced you?
I don't think I have ever dedicated myself so much to a game in like thinking about it and writing stuff about it. Just like in my free time, I think about this game whenever we're not playing it all the time. Trying to think of like, what the heck does the alcohol-soaked bag mean?
Oh yeah, that's a why was Finley bandaged hastily, poorly, and in a bag soaked with alcohol? Why?
Why? That's exactly my question. I have one theory because Cameron brought it up.
Tell us your theory.
And she said, and I think that this might be the case, that the like vapors of the alcohol, because Finley is so small, and also rats have a very strong sense of smell, that it might have been able to numb and or knock him out enough that he didn't have to deal with the pain or something along those lines.
You're so close. You are so close. It's not quite that. You're so close.
Oh. And then there's also the theory that Manda brought up, of what if it's Acom that did it? Because he has told us.
Why would Agam do that? Why would Agam is like?
He's told us.
By the way, it's AGIM, Agam, Magi. So why would he do that?
Because he's told us time and time again that we need to stick together, and we keep running off away from each other, and it was Finley's turn this time.
Okay.
And he
Yeah.
recognizes the importance that Finley has.
That makes
to not
sense.
only Mila,
Yeah,
but
I see that.
potentially
Yeah.
The Fates.
Yep.
Just saying.
Rachel, I don't know if you know this or not, but Finley's actually the BBG.
That's what Thomas is saying. He isn't. He's
Okay, stop.
He's my sweet little lad.
So, Rachel, one more for you on the theater side. What's a classic theatrical trope that you love and have introduced into your gaming? Like, how do you bring some element of being in theater to your role play?
It's a very very good question.
Only kind to ask. Teasing.
I think it kind of harkens back to what I said previously. I've been doing theater for a very long time, so I've had the pleasure of being able to play so many different types of characters, and seeing like all of these pre-written stories that people have written out. Of course, that's why we're acting it. And the intricacies of their backstories and how that mingles with the plot of the game, and just kind of keeping in mind the flow of a story in general, and being able to transfer that knowledge to a game that isn't pre-written, that we're kind of writing as we go. I've lost my train of thought.
No, you're fine. Let me push on that.
That's
So
the next one.
your accents, the investment that you put into the game, the way you embody the character, how do you do that? Like I've seen you emote, you and Cameron both, emote such pathos at the table. How?
Years of practice, I suppose. Like I said, I love acting. I took a lot of voice lessons for about 9 years, but I did a couple of acting lessons in there. But it's just being able to... I would say that I've lived a rather colorful life within my 21 years of living. I've experienced a lot of different emotions, and that has helped in being able to tap into those emotions and feel the empathy of what my character would be feeling in that moment.
Okay, so that's powerful. Is that ever dangerous for you? Like, do you ever get close to the edge of an emotion which is maybe too raw?
There have been a couple of times, but it is only in situations that have affected like me personally.
Mm-hmm.
But it's never been... I love RPGs because it is such a safe place to experience those emotions, but not have any real harm come your way.
Right.
From like physical harm or emotional harm. Well, there can be emotional harm, I suppose. I have...
Did I get close to the edge with Finley? Like with the Finley?
No.
Are you sure? Are you
I mean,
sure?
Like I was heartbroken. If anything happened to him, I would have sobbed at your table like I did with Marcus dying. That Marcus dying hurt.
Marcus.
Think about that man.
Well, Marcus, he loved you guys. He was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we loved him too. I think so fondly of the time that little Mila tried to convince him to just go on vacation. Because, what does a child know of how adults work? But
they have ideas.
Yes, and her idea was if I convince him to go on a vacation and he'll leave, then we will be fine and he won't get hurt.
Yeah.
Not that I'll tell him what the truth is and he will want to try and protect these little children that are living under his bookstore.
So, Rachel, I think so with Marcus and with Finley, I think that's a great thought for us to pursue, because you are so kind, sweet, desiring the best for everyone. And sometimes intentions don't convey reality. And how does that play into the game? That's a fun trope that I'm trying to explore with this group.
And you are doing a fantastic job so far, because man, what you wrote about Finley, my heart hurt. Once again, and I
oh yes, you can leave whenever you want.
Yeah, and in her mind, it's like
right, freedom. Yeah.
It's something that she had yearned for, and she had gotten. And so she wanted that door to be open if he ever so chose, without thinking of the impact that would have on Finley, who has told her multiple times that without her around, he begins to lose his intelligence.
He's an infantile imbecile wandering in the nothingness. And yes, so it was, yeah, all right.
Like, I can see both sides of the story, and they're both really compelling and really good, but God, it hurts.
That's what makes it good.
Exactly.
All right, Kurt, same question for you. How do you embody your characters and bring them to life?
Generally, for the most part, I find something. Most of my characters they come from something I've read. they have some sort of element of a character that I have read from before that I really liked, that I could find myself reflected in some way, shape, or form, and I just enhance that. So, like when I think about a character and when I come to a character, I look at what is the story that I want this character to tell, and what particular trait of myself or do I want it to be the most enhanced around. And so that's more or less what drives it. What 3 words can I use to describe this character? What do they want, and why can they not get it? Like that's what drives my characters.
What 3 words? What do they want? How can they get it?
What do they want, and why can't they get it?
So give us an example.
Okay, so we'll take Jonas as a prime example, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Jonas.
Jonas's 3 staples were honesty, right? Blunt, and naive. Right? He has a degree of naive. He just doesn't understand how some things work, right? And then what he wanted, or what he wants at this point, right, is essentially revenge again for the death of his sister, right? But at the time, what he sought was, I need to find out what happened to her, but I can't do it on my own because I lack the skills.
Right.
I don't know what I'm doing, right? So he needs adventurers to go help him to go do things, right? But that forces him into situations where he's not going to know how to react correctly. He's just not going to, because he sits in a lab. He stares at chemicals, right? He drives a Volvo, a beige one. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of how he is.
I need an image of Jonas driving a beige Volvo now.
Anachronisms. All right, so ask Rachel. Ready?
Oh, okay. Channeling it.
Whoops,
I got
wrong
one
one.
of 3 right now.
What OG publication was this image from?
Oh, it looks so familiar. I'm so sad.
It's okay. It's also 4 feet from you every Sunday. You're gonna have to look at the room next.
Yeah, I'll pay attention.
I'm giving her like the hints because they're all in the room every week when she's here. But
Once again, I get very distracted by the minis you have. They are all very
oh,
wondrous.
thank you. Baldur's Gate, no. I'm not being a meanie, no. Rachel, is this mean?
I signed up for this.
Are you okay? Like, no, okay.
I'm good. I'm not
Okay.
embarrassed by any means.
Okay.
I just
All right. The answer is
this.
this.
Oh, it's just the dungeon.
It's the OG Dungeon Master's Guide.
I'll never make that mistake again. I'll
course.
tell you that. I'm writing it down as well.
Yeah, it is an Efreet. That's right. But it's on the OG DM's Guide. Yes, exactly. All right, Kurt.
I probably could have just taken a guess and it would have been.
You would have been, yes. You would. Yeah. All right. Last one I have. Kurt, this is for you.
Okay.
If you fail, I won't kick you off the stream.
Okay.
I will just find you tomorrow and
I thought
beat
you
you
were
into
gonna say
submission.
bully you incessantly.
Yes.
All right. What do we got? Hit me with it. I'm batting 1,000.
You better get it. You better get it.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? That's what we're going with?
We're giving you like
We're going
softball.
Softball? Oh, okay. Now, if I want to be correct, if I recall correctly, not only is that Dark Sun, but I do believe it is the campaign box for Dark Sun.
It's beautiful.
So every single book I've shown here, I have them all here, 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 and here. Yes, this is the original Dark Sun box set. That is.
You could have given me that one. I could have got.
I know you would have, Rachel. Yeah, well, because it's behind me, so you stared at all, right? Right. So the ones to your left are not fair. The ones behind me are the ones you should see. Yes, that makes sense.
Yes.
All right. So as we wrap up here, sorry, go ahead, Kurt.
I love that one. I was like, no, Braum is the whole reason why.
Oh my gosh. So Gerald is such a kind man. I've reached out to him. He does respond, but he's very shy. He does not want to come on streams. So he's just but he's such a talented and amazing person. I'm a lover of Gerald Braum. Never played it. All right, so chat, give us some questions for Rachel and Kurt, and we're going to wrap up here in the next few minutes, but I've got a few more for myself. Go ahead, Rachel. You were going to say something.
I did ask the question previously that Kurt didn't get the chance to answer.
Oh, what's that?
Of if you were to choose a 5e or Pathfinder class, what would you be?
Me? Oh, I am 100% a level 1 human fighter.
Love it.
I am a level 1 human fighter because more often than not, I find myself surrounded by those who are more talented, better suited, and way more advanced down the chain.
That was pitiful self-deprecation. That came off so fake. No, you are way Kurt, come on. No, you're
Finish. Let me finish, sir.
Okay, sorry.
Let me finish. There we go. So, the reason I say that, okay, is ultimately I have done what the level 1 human fighter has done, right? He is surrounded by people. He is surrounded by elves who can fling magic, right? He's surrounded by, he's got orcs that are twice as strong that are around him, right? He has all these things around him that are either more magical, stronger, tougher, smarter than he is, right? Okay, but he still managed to make it, right? Like he's still hanging in there. What is his only thing that he got, right? Oh, he got an extra feat because he grew up as a farm boy, so he gets an extra hit point every level, right? Like that's all he's got going for him, and he can swing a sword. Like that's all he's got, right? But he still manages to make it, right? And so for me personally, that's how I parallel it, right? Outside of the army, I have no formal education, right? I don't. I have a high school diploma and I have whatever the army taught me. So everything that I've done, I have become a successful writer, I have become a successful streamer, I have become a successful, everything I have done has been through the help of others and learning it as I go. Just 100% learning it as I go, which is exactly what a level 1 human fighter does. He has one or two things that he can do, but past that, he's just got to learn it as he goes, and that's all he's got.
I'm
a proud member of the level 1 human fighter club.
I love that. Kurt, wow.
That was a pretty good.
Rachel, thank you for asking that.
Yeah.
So, for both, your favorite race or class that you have never played yet. That's from Robert Kai Hawkeye.
Oh, I know that one.
I do too. Go ahead, Rachel, first.
That I've never played?
Oh, we'll go to Kurt first. He's got it ready. Go ahead, Kurt.
Okay. So, two. There's two of them. First one, I've never gotten to play an anti-paladin. Ever. And I've always wanted to. I've always thought it could be a really cool twist to basically play. I don't know if you've ever read the Black Company books or whatnot.
Glenn Cook, really? Dude, stop, Kurt. There is nothing you can say that I have not read. No, I've read it all. Sorry, that was aggressive. That was really aggressive. Sorry.
I've always thought that it would be cool to play in a game where that's who you are. You are the heroes for the bad guy, right?
Right.
You just don't necessarily know it, or you do know it and you kind of look the other way.
Glenn Cook is so good with that. It is a fun series.
So the first one was an anti-paladin, but anti-paladins don't really exist in 5e or anything like that. So my follow-up one to that one is, as always, the one thing that I've always been too afraid to play my whole time. I have never once played a bard of any capacity as a player. I have played it as an NPC, as a DM, but only in very short instances, but I have never played an actual bard on paper before because I have been absolutely afraid to play that class. Why? Because there is a degree of making sure you're silver-tongued a lot of times.
Which you are naturally, Kurt. So
not as much as you think.
No. Stop. Not as much as you think. So
anyway, but the big thing is also with the bard is that the thing with the bard is that you're the morale of the group, right? And so
is that okay? Wait. So can we pause there?
Yeah.
That's a 5e trope. is the bard necessarily the morale of the party? I think bards can be melancholy. They can be, they're artists of any kind, right? So they could be authors, painters, writers. They could have deeply troubled backgrounds. They could be struggling within themselves. Why does a bard have to be the morale of the party? Rachel, Kurt, stop. Rachel, go ahead.
I'm currently playing 2 bards in 2 separate campaigns at the moment. One of them
A
is
dirge,
Swords Bard, who does not play any instruments. She does not sing, but she does paint. And
The fields are lowing.
She's for sure not the morale of the party. She just wants to get back to her girlfriend. That's her plan. That's all she wants.
Right.
And the other one is the more traditional bard of she wants to go to bard college. That is her main goal in life. She just wants to get into the bard college.
Well, this is one of my principal struggles with the common tropes I'm seeing with 5e. And again, this is not a problem with 5e. It's an evolution. It'll all work out. But they don't have to be philanderers. They don't have to always be like, the guy trying to get in everyone's pants and singing the jolly songs, which I thought the D&D movie was fun, but bards can be so much more. They are artists. All right, Kurt, you may talk.
They are. Okay. Thank you.
You can give it permission.
You may speak.
So here's the reason why I say bards are the morale, right?
Right.
Because they're engineered to be that way. They are supposed to be the point of inspiration for the group when they have none, right? They are the writer of deeds. They are the singer of songs. They are the ones who at the end of the day, right, will be the ones that record their saga and tell the world.
Oh, record this saga. Let's go. You're not Silvertongue, Kurt. No.
So again, right? It's not that my feeling is not that bards are the whole like super sexy all the time kind of person. No, it is that they have the biggest responsibility of the group. That when all the chips are down, the bard is going to be the one who's got to pick them up and keep them going. Not necessarily with magic, but with sheer motivation and morale. That's what a bard is there. He inspires his group.
Well, okay, so I mean, I felt so much of that, but Kurt, I'm going to push back again.
Okay.
What if the bard is maudlin? What if the bard is struggling? What if the bard is deeply disturbed in the pathos of the deepest despair of their life, but they're still creative and artistic? Are they responsible for inspiring the party, or can they not just be a creator and someone that's there? Perhaps if someone looks over their shoulder and sees the prose being crafted in silence.
Here's the thing, though, right? In that state, they're still inspiring their party. Do you know how?
How?
Because they see this melancholy, this weak individual who, against no matter what, is still trying to come with them, and they will feel a need to protect them at all costs. So they are still inspiring their party to do the right thing, to do what is needed, because they still have to protect that. The bard inspires no matter what. How they inspire is varied, but the bard is the inspiration. The cleric guides, the bard.
And you called me a bard, Kurt. I feel good now.
You're a bard.
You're a bard, John.
All right, so as we wrap up here, and thanks, Jay. Thanks, everyone. Fun chat. I mean, I'm so excited. Look,
So fun.
again, the new generation, all love to Rob and Vivi. Great people who are going to be part of our stream forever, Lord willing. They are amazing, talented creators. Friday Night Crusades will continue on, and Vivi will be on LMA. Rob will be on LMA as guests, but I am so excited about having the two of you on as well. And I want to say thank you so much for being willing to join me. It's a bit of a commitment, but I think you're both you're game for it. I mean, I've seen Rachel, you are all like a drop of a pin, like you're there any game, right?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. What's going to be funny, though? What's going to be funny, right? This is the part that I'm going to absolutely love about LMA. This is what I love about going forward. You have someone who writes in 5e, someone who predominantly plays in 5e, and then we've got the staunch anti-5e. Right? And it's one of those.
I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. I'm not anti-5e. I'm not.
No, but I find the
It's the
jokes are
spectrum.
it's the spectrum. The
It is.
jokes
It
are
is.
gonna
It is.
ensue.
Yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Agreed. All right. So, a couple of questions I want to ask as we finish up. One is what each of you would like to see for LMA as we move forward. Guests, content, ideas. But then, as you're musing upon that, I would like you to tell me when you knew you were a geek.
Oh shit, that's easy.
Kurt, you're up first.
Oh, that's easy. I knew I was a geek when I was about 10 years old. When I know this sounds horrible, when I was 10 years old, and this sounds bad, right? And I got beat up at school for still having all of my Transformers with me and reading comic books.
Oh my gosh,
Okay.
I would have been there for you, Kurt.
No
Oh,
shit. No shit, right?
that's
That, and the reason why is they were like, you were a geek, and I never really understood what it was until I got home, right? And I had to, I got home, and I was like, what is? They beat me up because I'm a geek. What's a geek, right? And like my parents are geeks, so it's one of those. They're like, they have this look on their face of like, yeah, this was bound to happen. And so they explain to me, right, that you're just one of those kids who isn't big on everything that's mainstream, everything that is most commonly accepted. You like all the little things. You like the sci-fi and the fantasy. You don't necessarily care about, this week's foosball team. That's not your thing. This is who you are, and that's kind of what you are. You're a geek. And so that's how I knew I was a geek.
Jason said it was time for the talk. Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
Sorry,
But I will
son.
stand by. I will stand by that I was that I come from an accepting household. Thank you very much.
Nice.
A very
Good.
accepting household.
Very nice.
Because my mother was a Trekkie and my father was a Jedi, and they came together, and they would bar no picking of either side. So I would sit there and watch Jean-Luc Picard with my lightsaber, and then turn around. And
Wait, Jean-Luc Picard, I was in my 30's for. Wait, come on. All right, Rachel.
Bring up age. I didn't bring up age. You did. You did.
I was watching Shatner and Leonard Nimoy. Like, that was... All right, Rachel, when did you know you were a geek?
So I think once I had like my 500th hour in my choice of video game at the time, it has changed, it has varied. I have played so many video games. I had settled upon the fact that I indeed am definitely at the very least a nerd. But what got me as the geek was once I started playing D&D and I realized that it was almost all I could talk about with my friends. Other than like anything that they would bring up. If they would ask me like, how are you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm great. This is what happened last session. And then I'd be like, I've done it again.
No, so Rachel, I was kind of sus on you at first. I'm like, is she really into the game? Does she really?
Oh.
And then when I was hearing like all the different games you were playing in and how like, okay, yeah, she's legit.
Oh gosh, I have Tears of Air. I have my Friday game. I have my Wednesday game. Right now.
And now you have LMA.
And now I have LMA. And I would not have it any other way. I love it.
All right, so Rachel, Kurt, I've told this story probably 4 times on LMA, but it would not be right if I did not indoctrinate you with this story as well. Do either of you know when I first realized I was a geek?
You have told me this. Over
I'm pretty sure. The chat's gonna chat. Be quiet.
yeah, you have told me this over coffee. I did not learn it from LMA.
It's okay.
Man, my brain is
I came out as a paladin. All right, Rachel. Rachel, do you know?
I don't think.
All right, so big facts here. All right, this would have been 1979. I was 8 years old.
Setting the stage.
I was first exposed to D&D. Fun. Like, what is this game? OG, right? And I wanted lead figures. They were truly lead at that time. Your miniatures were lead. But I had no money. I could not get them. We were poor as Job's turkey. My pseudo stepfather at the time, Michael Moore, love him. Michael, if you're out there, had some Playboy and Penthouse magazines. in his room. I would take those. I've lost Rachel. I would take those magazines and trade them to my friends for lead figures.
You made the
Okay.
best decision.
I thought for a second you were going to say that you cut out
That is
people to put as many.
What 9-year-old kid, 8-9-year-old kid is trading those things for lead figures?
Legend.
That was me.
You are
Yep.
a legend. Is what you are.
legendary. That is not a geek, sir. That is an entrepreneur.
That's commitment.
That is.
It was like you are a geek for life when you do that. You're done. All right. So what would you like to see with LMA in the coming months? Let's start with you, Kurt.
Okay, so one of the things that LMA has always done for a very long time is we here have always reviewed a lot of stuff that used to exist and how things like that we've adopted it to make it look for today, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a prime example, right? You know, can we update Dark Sun? Can we update the old settings? Can we update those things, right? And how have we done that? And how many of the things from yesteryear are we trying to reincorporate into what we're doing today, right? I personally would like to see more of the, hey, did you know that this is out, that this is doing something? Shameless plug here, right? Prime example, right? MCDM. I am a great fan and major admirer of Matt Colville Dungeon Master, right? They just released their Flea Mortals book, right? Which is it's like 400 pages of all new monsters. And I'm like, monsters, yes, new monsters, right? And it's that whole like, I want to like, let's look at these monsters. How are these monsters different from the monsters that we used to have? Versus, what's the new take on these monsters? What's the new stuff that's there, right? That we can look at.
And why? Why, Kurt? Why is that?
Because for me as a person who's been through several editions, right? One thing that has always fascinated me as a person is the evolution of the game, right? Is what did we take and keep, and what did we get rid of and make new, right? The Beholder, when the Beholder began, it was just an orb with eye stalks, and that was it, right? But now we have 6 different Beholders with personalities, and they have a whole culture that makes the Beholder, and that kind of evolution of those is like, oh, they're not just numbers on a sheet anymore, right? Your monsters, your bad guys, they have motivations, they have reasons that they do things, some nefarious, some not. But I love learning about that kind of stuff, and I love seeing that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yes, right? I love that. What was it? Cobalt Press released 2 massive tomes of all new spells.
All the Black Flag stuff and...
I mean, not necessarily the Black Flag stuff. I mean, that stuff's neat, but it's still in its infancy, right?
Right.
But they released a couple of books that are just quite literally tomes of spells.
Oh,
That's all that they are. Massive books of spells that do different stuff, right? And I'm like, that's awesome. That's stuff that I would love to like dig into. But I also love exploring some of the core stuff from ye old yesteryear, right? I'm a hardcore 3.5 guy. I love 3.5. It is my favorite system. It is my favorite setting.
Because it's the best.
Pathfinder 1E, whatever.
It's the same. It's the same.
It's not the same.
It is. PF just has more stuff.
It's not the same.
Why? Tell me why.
Because it's Pathfinder.
Yeah. What are the core? It's the same rule set, just more stuff. Fight me.
No, you got reach.
I feel like
That's
I
not
have
fair.
to stand between you two.
All right, Rachel, what would you like to see for?
Something that I've always enjoyed tuning in on with Loremasters is the various guests that you have. Because one of my favorite joys is listening to people talk about their like greatest pleasure, like whatever it is that they have dedicated themselves to learning about or being a part of. I love listening to people talk about it, and learning about it myself is also very fun. And I know that we'll definitely have guests in the future because that's just how
Next week.
Game is played.
June Solar coming on. Radu. I'm sorry, Radu's coming on next week. Yeah. So.
Okay.
be fun.
I must
Athos.org.
come up with
Yeah.
questions.
I'll help you with that. So
We must prepare. I
Yeah.
hope he's ready for all of my psionics questions. All of them.
I have had an absolute blast tonight. Man, you guys are so much. I knew it would be so much fun. Final thoughts from each of you. We'll go to you, Kurt. If you wanted to tell the Blue Box community why they should feel perhaps frightened that you're part of LMA.
So here's why you should be frightened that I'm on LMA. I will challenge everything. Every notion that you have that you think is the most sacredest rule that you have ever held on to when it comes to a game of making up make-believe stories, I will challenge it. I will say, but why? Why are you doing that? And that is why you should be afraid, because I won't accept because that's the way we've always done it. No, I want to know why. Why don't you like this? Why don't you like
I love
do you
those
like
questions.
this?
I have nothing because there is no answer I will ever give that is because we've always done it that way.
Why do you like this versus this?
Yep.
What is it that makes you choose this versus that? I will push your comfort zone. I will push it out and be like, what are you doing? And then I'll throw in a random fact about G.I. Joes or something because
Heck yeah.
why not? I mean, just because.
Rachel.
I have two things why you should be frightened. The first, I don't know about a lot.
Lies.
So I'm gonna be learning a lot alongside you guys. We're gonna be facing it for the first time together, holding hand in hand.
And that's going to be awesome.
It'll be fun, but also be afraid. Secondly, I ramble, and also I lose train of thought so often.
have a
You'll
train?
have to. Yeah, it leaves me sometimes. Sometimes I just get shoved off of it mid-sentence, and I'm just gone. And so you'll have to bear with that and be afraid of it too, because it'll happen.
Love it.
But I'm excited.
Love it.
I don't think John's prepared for the thought train that takes us from explaining the power level creep in 3.5 to a bowl of macaroni and cheese.
Oh,
because
it's
that's the
gonna
train.
happen.
That's the train we're gonna be on.
Yep.
All right.
There are so many rails, and it's just they're deep.
I feel I have made a mistake. I have overshot the mark here, I think, perhaps. All right, so
Excitedly.
No.
last
You
question.
don't have to keep your eyes.
Kurt, what projects are you working on? I know we talked about Morkborg. You're
Okay,
writing for that.
so
What's going on?
I've been writing for Morkborg. That's in edits, and that's a whole headache that I won't even get into. But one of the things that I'm working on right now is I have started to develop several 5e adventure modules, which are going to work into a full-on campaign. Ideally, that's the hope. But right now they're broken up, and I'm going back to my original of writing 5e stuff and toying around in that area. Lack of a better term. Between the Arcadia series, which is Dragon Magazine Reborn, and the various all the new stuff coming out of Flea Mortals, and then all the new books that have been coming out this past year that have like 5e mechanics and stuff, and just been like, this is great. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get back to my roots, and I'm gonna fight some gnolls. That's all I'll tell you about it. Gnolls are a key central figure to this thing, right? Now, you may be wondering, why are gnolls? But it's the starting...
Who doesn't love a gnoll?
Why not
Right.
Knowles?
Gnolls are awesome.
The starting adventure is for level 5 to 7, and you're fighting gnolls, which are challenge rating 1/2.
Yeah.
So think about that.
Many and so the kobold tactics that can be played very carefully, and you can actually make those CR ratings, which are lower, much more challenging for higher level kids. Is that we're going, Kurt?
No. More like kobolds, or not kobolds, but gnolls have a very, very deep and rich history if you bother to look. And they answer to some very, very powerful individuals.
Oh, you're bringing it over the top. Okay. All right, Rachel, same question for you.
Truthfully, I'm just doing a lot of writing for TOA at the moment. I'm trying to get.
Oh, it's so good. It is so good.
I've got journal entries that are on the way. I've got a little extra stuff happening for the 7 years that I'm preparing. because we're gonna be headed towards Kemi and Avignon at some point in the future, and I want to have stuff prepared for when
The brother stalwart. So I said the last question, but I lied. Rachel, you get the last question.
Ooh.
If you're looking at the community here, we got 40, 50 people, whatever. So if you were to tell everyone online tonight why they should watch you and the crew for Tears of Erd on Sunday, what would you say?
Oh, you want to know why? Well, I'll tell you why. And I'm quoting Jenny here. I'll tell you why. And that is because it's freaking fantastic. We literally put our whole minds into this game. We are messaging each other about it constantly. We have theories. And just not only that, the characters are wonderful. John has done an incredible job of sculpting this world and making all of these pieces that we don't even know about at this time that are moving simultaneous to what we're doing. It is a blast. There is laughter, there is crying, as is Tears of Erd. It is so fantastic. And if you haven't caught up and watched it, honestly, who needs to catch up? Anytime if something of importance happens that's back, that happened previously, we'll explain it.
What happened last time?
Yeah.
The tears have fallen, but the crying has only begun.
Has only just begun.
All right, so I want to say as we're... Go ahead, Kurt. As we raid into our good friend Jay, I want to say to both of you again, man, I had so much fun tonight. This was like God, you're both so much fun, like very creative, very thoughtful, very engaging. I look forward to many more conversations with both of you. This is the next generation. Again, no shade. I mean, nothing but love for Robert and Vivi. They are amazing. All love. They were in the chat tonight. It's just about times of life, and you both had time, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We had time, and I have no life. So that's
All right, we're rating Jay. Final thoughts to the Mad Chatters, either of you. 10 seconds.
I love you
9.
guys. You guys are the best.
See you next
Thank you for
week.
being here.
See you next week.
Dark Sun stuff. Tune in.
Do
All right.
it. It's so good.
Rating now.
Oh.